Oh my god, it's been 3 days. All right. To do.
Anime titties! I have been summoned.
Anime titties. Hello, Chaos. Hello. How are you? How is your day? Also, thank you for the blurb. Thank you for the blurb. Was busy? What did you do? Did you just come home from work? But that's nothing new. Ah, I see. We can start to slow down, sort of. Ah, I see. Is that a good thing? That's a good thing, right? My day has been I was like literally up until like 1 p.m. since yesterday, and then I went to sleep, and I woke up at like 7 p.m. Yes, it means a better chance of VTO. Ah, nice. We love volunteer time off. Okay, today we are gonna continue The Walking Dead. I think there's like 2 more chapters left for season 1. So hopefully, I think there is. I don't know. I gotta check. Hell yeah, I do. And then it's Sekiro. You really want me to play Sekiro after this? We'll see. Yeah. I'll think about it. Good, scrub. Alright. Okay. Also, my beverage of the day is sparkling orange juice. It is not good. Not good. I mean, you know, I already have it, so I might as well finish drinking it, you know, but yeah. Oh my god, is that boy smell? I smell it. I smell it. MP-chan. I finally figured out how to cancel my sub. Oh wait, that did. Welcome. How are you? Not canceling the sub. I forgot what I was about to say. I had like something in my head that I wanted to like talk about, and then like it's just not in my head anymore. Oh my god. Well, I'll figure it out later.
Thank you so much for the sub.
Oh my god!
Triple A did this work.
Triple A did this work. Thank you for the 7 months. Oh, I resub instead? Damn, this thing is hard. That's what he said. Funny, right? Funny? No. Not like that. Wait. Oh my god, 7 months already? Sheesh. There you go. CZ select. Oh, welcome, Miss Stanova. Welcome. How are you? How's your day? The Walking Dead. Also, nobody tell her? Okay, that's okay. Last D&D session was rough. Really? How many people did you get killed? Okay, we're on episode 4. Oh, welcome, Mick Crimson. Welcome. How are you? How is your day? Like, episode 4, 5. Special episode. Wait, can I finish all of this tonight?
Previously on The Walking Dead.
Shut up, on The Walking Dead.
I've heard enough out of you.
Now,
Showed it right here. This part still like is shocking to me. Oh my god. It wasn't that I was getting them killed, but about to do the killing. Oh, you were going rogue on people. And also that we had a retcon,
What do we do?
a reckon, the action, so that the party did disband will kill each other. Oh my god, that's terrible chaos. Where's the teamwork?
help find
No,
a book.
retcon?
That's better,
Retcon? What is retcon?
We'll be in Savannah,
see-
and my parents were in
Oh,
Savannah.
to backtrack.
Okay, we'll look for them.
I was the
Ah.
one giving the bandits supplies.
What?
It's all my
See.
fault.
We gotta jump!
What? No way!
Can't wait for you to get to Savannah, Clementine. I got your parents right here.
Oh, that's right. There was like a creepy man talking to
To
Clementine.
or not. Now, what I need.
Who the fuck?
I don't know, but I doubt we're gonna be happy when we find out.
Basically, we do it like it didn't happen. But what had happened was, did you punch red barrels? It's pretty good with town, and got cheese pizza. Oh, yummy. Today I'm playing Assassin's Creed Revelation at 75% done. Oh my god! Nice, nice. Sounds like you had a good day. Very good day. How are you? I'm doing pretty good. I was up. Okay, actually, I was up all night playing Marvel Rivals. I'm not even kidding. I'm on a winning streak. Like I'm back at Diamond. Like I fell all the way back down to Plateau, and now I'm back to Diamond. I know it's crazy. I know it's unhealthy, but like, God, it feels good. And I didn't go to sleep until like 1 p.m. Also, I just woke up too, like 2 hours ago. Ate food. Pretty good day, you know? Pretty good day. Oh, so I'm holding her
Can't I just
walkie-talkie
hold
now?
it? Just for a little while. We're getting real close to where my mom and dad are.
Don't ask me
Maybe I can-
again.
I already told you no. Don't ask me again, okay?
You gotta be
What's the harm in
strict.
letting her have it? It doesn't even work.
You take care of yours, let me take care of mine.
Sorry, I
My
spoke.
character is a
How's O'Leary?
vampire
His leg's pretty bad.
who is craving for
I'm fine.
flesh,
You're not fine. You need to rest.
who
He
also
needs
has
to
the curse of
rest.
the Wendigo, meaning specifically humanoid flesh. How much further?
Kenny, how much farther to the
Oh my
river?
god, Wendigo?
There should be just
Some
a few
things
more
happened, and then
blocks
my
up
character
ahead.
started getting hungry
there'll
and
be
wandering
boats
around
there?
town like a serial
Sure
killer.
as hell
So the
better.
party panicked, and
There'll
we
be
were trying to
boats.
find out.
Have to be. Have
Find
to
out
be.
about some bandits
It's
to
going
take
to be
care of.
okay.
What?
Kenny knows what he's doing.
Needless to say, we didn't find bandits, but a lone old man who is a former war hero. Did you eat him?
Maybe this city's not so dead after all.
Keep moving. No one's ringing
Wendigos are
that bell.
cannibals,
It's
right?
automatic.
Aren't they?
On a timer.
What kind of church bell goes off at 20 past the hour? Someone's up
Oh.
there!
Are you sure? I don't see anything.
I know what I
know
saw.
what I saw. I'm telling you, there's someone up
So
in
is
that
the
bell
volume too
tower.
low? Should
Someone
I lower
alive.
it a little bit. Yeah, like that.
If I were you, I'd get out of the street now.
I thought you said that thing didn't work.
Who in the hell
Who
is
the hell
this?
is this? Hello? Hello? I said answer me.
Yes, actually, initially I killed the old man, I ate him, and then the rest of the party showed up, and that's what we all. Oh my god, chaos! Damn, doing
hell was
everything
that?
just to be a
Is someone
cannibal.
trying to fuck with us?
Risking your whole team just to be a cannibal.
Ask not for whom the bell tolls.
What are you yammering on about?
It tolls for thee.
It tolls for thee. Because one person in the party is a lawful character and another was raised by said war hero. Ah! Oh my god, the chaos, that's terrible! Oh shit, oh run!
Everybody, run!
love to play D&D. I feel like my role-playing skills are great.
Kitty!
Kitty!
Little too close. Don't you think?
Big!
No! Ben! Help her!
Help her, Finn! What is he gonna do? Sacrifice himself? What the hell? Wait, he just left her? He just left her?
No!
What the heck, Finn?
Get her the hell out of here.
So we backtracked the whole thing because lore-wise we either would have had to disband the party or they tried to kill me.
Move your asses!
Oh my
River
God.
Street's right up
I
ahead!
feel like they should have killed
not
you.
all. Oh, give me a fucking
You're
break!
dragging the team down.
What the hell's Chuck?
Shoot Vinny in the leg, let him die. No!
There's no time! We gotta go, now!
Go, go.
Just go!
Wait, what? We're gonna let him... He's not gonna die, right? I don't think he's gonna
I'll
die.
get the door.
I feel like he has like Plauto armor. Okay, why did you fall? Oh,
You okay?
that's right. He has a broken leg, right?
Yeah.
Or like
You've
he's
opened
hurt.
up your wound. You're bleeding. Shit, it's gonna get infected. We've got to get him inside. Clean him up.
Kenny, how's that door
I'm
coming?
working on it, I'm working on it!
We'll work faster, would you? Won't be long before those things outside figure out where we went. You know they can smell blood.
Lady, I ain't the one who's bleeding.
Just get us
Just get us
inside.
inside. I don't care how you do it.
Maybe you should come up with some ideas then.
Okay, buddy. Okay. Okay, talk to Clementine. Funny thing, I'm the tank of the party. If I'm gone, then they have to get up close. Oh my
Are they going
god!
to find us?
Try not to worry.
Don't worry. Even if they saw us, they can't get in here.
We did. Why
I
can't
can
they?
never be a
We're
tank.
a lot smarter.
I'm a range
Just like them
character.
animals.
Like even in Baldur's Gate, I was a
He used to have a
ranger.
pet hamster. One night, he figured out how to open the door to his cage. And when we woke up, he'd eaten half a box of cookies.
I don't think this is quite the same, Clem.
Yeah, right. This time we're the cookies.
Just stay away from the gate. I'm gonna see about getting us inside the house.
Okay. Find a way inside the house.
How's he looking?
I'm all right.
You're not all right. You've reopened your wound. You're losing blood. And God only knows what might have
I
gotten
always
in
play
there.
barbarian.
It could be infected.
Oh
It
yeah,
could
I
be-
remember you
no
mentioned
offense.
that.
But you really need to work on your bedside manner.
Oh, she's right. It looks bad. We'll take care of
She's
it.
just worried about you, man. Don't worry. We're gonna get you fixed up in no time. Just as soon as we're inside, okay?
Okay. Thanks, man.
Please go and help Kenny. We need to get him inside now.
I'm on it. Just sit tight.
Hey, I'm not going anywhere.
Okay. Way inside. Wait,
Looks
that
like something was
dog?
buried here.
Oh my god. Am I gonna see zombie dogs? I feel like I'm gonna see zombie dogs. What's this? No?
I'm thirsty enough to drink
Okay.
that yet.
Are you sure? I feel like I shouldn't trust you. I don't think so anyways. Okay.
The shovel is never not useful.
No, am I gonna dig it up? Do I have to dig it up?
There.
About Clementine. Oh, you think you get the
Think
windows
we can
open?
get in through one of these windows?
Man, I don't think so.
What the heck?
Looks pretty solid.
Thank you for the bits. Thank you for the sound alerts. about
About what happened
Clementine.
back there on the street.
I know. I don't know what happened. I just froze up. Hasn't that ever
Nice
happened to you?
car.
That's what I'm saying to you. You put that girl in danger again. It won't be walkers you have to worry about.
I hear you.
Oh yeah, guys, I'm like getting a lot better. I think. I don't know.
How do you think Kenny?
I remember I was like super sick like the other day,
No, it's like all
when
he
I
can
was
think
streaming,
about is finding a boat.
and like
He definitely doesn't want to talk
I was
about
trying to
costume
sleep.
duck,
I
at
couldn't
least not
sleep.
with
I
me.
had such a bad
You should
headache.
just let him deal with it in his own way.
Now
Let
I
him go
feel a
check
lot
things
better.
out.
Kind of.
All right.
Kind of.
No way I'm gonna be able to bust through that.
Can I use a shovel on here?
No way I'm gonna be able to
No?
bust through that.
Kenny? Thank you for the head pass, thank you for the hydrate! I will drink my sparkling orange juice. How's the door coming?
How's it coming? Find a way in yet?
Door's locked up tight. Too heavy to force it without making a whole lot of noise.
Maybe there's a better way.
Well, if there is, I ain't seeing it.
I don't know, it's not that good. How are you holding
Hey,
up?
How you holding up, man?
Lee, I appreciate the interest, but I don't think talking about my feelings right now is gonna help us get inside this house.
Okay, you know, you're right. Think
You
anyone
think maybe someone's
is
still
inside?
Nah, we'd have heard from him by now, all the racket we're making. But whoever was here did a pretty good job fortifying it. Nice place to hole up. We could just figure out how to get in. Maybe you should have a look around. See what you can find.
Doggy door?
What's this? Looks like there's some kind of pet door here.
I tried it already. That's locked too. Who the hell ever heard of a locked doggy
Oh.
door?
I have. My
Is
neighbor
it
had one
gonna
just
be
like
on
that.
the
It's
dog's
radio
collar
controlled.
or something?
The dog wears a collar with a chip in it, so the door only opens when the
Of
dog
course.
gets close to it.
Of course.
Bullshit.
Okay.
Every day's a school day. All right.
Why didn't they take
so
it off?
where's
Of
the
the
dog?
dog. Oh god. Oh god, please. I don't wanna dig up a dead dog.
Hey, be careful. Digging up dead things isn't what it used to be, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I hear you.
No, don't let Clementine. I mean, if your dog died, would you be worried about taking his collar off? I mean, I would at least like take the chip off the collar, you know? Stay away.
Nothing. Clem, go over and sit with Krista and Obi, okay?
But I want to.
Just do what I say, okay?
Ah, she feels hurt.
Oh God, the smell.
Thank you for the blurb. Thank you, thank you. Okay, I don't want her to see like a dead dog. I feel like seeing a dead dog is like
Okay, that is
so
not
sad.
cool.
So sad.
I'm fine, honey. It's just
I don't know, seeing a dead dog is probably
You
worse
sure
than
you-
seeing a dead
I'm
person.
fine,
I don't
okay?
know. I mean, I have never seen a dead person before. So I can't compare, but I don't know. I can't look at a dead dog. It's so sad.
Here goes nothing.
Yes.
We get Clementine to
God
go in.
damn.
I mean, I've seen plenty of dead animals and a
See
dead
anything in there?
person. At funerals, but a dead person on the
like it's been
okay,
empty.
I feel like a dead person at a funeral is a lot different. Cause they look presentable, you know?
Whatever you're gonna do, do it
You know
fast.
what I mean?
Okay, let me see if I can.
Also, thank you
reach
for
up
the redeem, nobody. Thank you,
careful,
thank
man.
you. Welcome in. How are you? How's your day?
It's no good. I can't get it.
Here, let me try. I think I can.
Oh. Are you okay?
Clem, are you okay? Say something.
Ta-da!
Oh my god. You should ask me
Good
first.
work, Clem. But don't go shooting off like that without asking first, okay?
I was just trying to help.
I know.
For your
You did good.
protection, Clementine.
Just had me worried there for a minute.
can we maybe have this conversation inside? My leg's starting to
Why
hurt
can't
like
we
hell.
just have the body on puppet strings and make them? Okay, no, that's. I think
Looks okay from
that'd
here.
be kind of funny,
Everybody
but
in.
like, I feel like. I don't know. Isn't that like a little bit disrespectful? It's like playing with your food, you know? You play with the dead body. Okay, this is a rich house.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. I'm good. Feel better already just being off my feet. Thanks, babe.
So,
Why would they
what are
care?
you
They're
gonna tell us
dead.
about the radio?
Tell you what.
That it's working. That there's someone else on the other
I mean,
end of that
you're.
thing.
I
You
mean,
think
you're
that
not
might have been worth
wrong.
sharing
You
with
know.
the rest of us?
Only
Well,
found out
I
yesterday.
was gonna tell you. Kenny and I only found out yesterday.
so both of you were
Things
keeping
that
it from
have
the
passed.
rest of us.
I was watching
Great.
some of your RE5
Who gives a shit about
Vaughn?
the damn radio? I'm more worried about
and it was
whoever
insane to
was
see
out
someone
there
struggle on the
ringing
first two
that bell,
but okay.
bringing the dead down on
RE5,
top of us.
I think it's just
Like they didn't
the
want us to
controls.
make it to
It's
the
such
river.
a
What
it's an
makes you
older
think it's
game,
not
right?
The same person?
It's just
Whoever
difficult,
was on the
okay?
radio
It's
was
hard.
close enough to see us in the street, and we didn't see anyone else other than the guy in the bell tower.
Because that doesn't make a lick of damn sense. Why would they bring out the dead like that and then try to warn us about it?
How much sense
sabotage
does
us.
anything make anymore? In case you haven't noticed, there's a lot of twisted folks out there.
They're
these
stalking
days.
us.
At least the dead don't play games with you.
Whoever it
They've been
was,
great.
seems
Ran us
like
snow
they're
in March, but I got
following
moved in with my girlfriend a few days ago, so we got to
All
make
the more
cheesecake
reason
together.
to get on a damn
So-
boat
oh my god,
where we
that's
can't
so
be
cute!
followed.
I'm not going back out
Oh my
there
god,
anytime
nobody!
soon.
I didn't know you
Only
got a
needs to
girlfriend. Congratulations! Oh my god! Oh, we need to find Chuck.
We need to make sure Chuck is okay.
Oh my god, that's so nice! Congrats, congrats. Hope you're living well. Hope you're happy. Oh my god.
Suit yourselves. I'm not gonna wait around too long for
That's
someone else to grab
great.
up those boats. That's our
RE5 is
ticket
the
out of
easiest
here.
one? Is it? Is it actually? I feel like RE2 is easy.
Place seems secure at least.
I'll feel better.
Oh,
when I
3.
know that
3
for
was
sure.
kind of easy.
We need to check the whole house.
All right, fine. You and me will take the upstairs. Lee, you've got down here. Make sure you check every door. Understand?
The
Okay.
fact that you literally look at the submachine gun case like 3 times. Oh, when I was getting like swarmed by zombies. I remember. I remember.
Hang out with Kristen Omead until I get back. Okay?
Lee, I'm sorry.
What for?
Going through the door like that without checking first? I guess that was pretty dumb, huh?
Just ask me first the next time you're gonna outsmart.
To be fair, I haven't seen her in months. Really? Wait, that makes it all like a lot more sweeter. Oh, now you guys moved in together. Oh, so cute. God, I hope you get married. Oh, a clock.
Must have stopped working a while ago.
Bottle.
Whoever cleared this place out left behind 2 bottles of whiskey. Looks like someone didn't have their priorities straight.
Not Operation Raccoon City. I don't know. Operation Raccoon City.
Probably not the best idea right now. I need to stay frosty.
I need to stay frosty.
Whoever
Oh,
cleared this place out left
wait,
behind
I wasn't
2
trying to
bottles
click
of
on that.
whiskey. Looks like someone didn't have their priorities straight.
trying to click on the paper. Right here.
Looks expensive.
Hasn't been in ages because of the issues
Doubt any looters
with
would
the
be
Windows
able to haul
Store
that
or
thing
something.
too far.
Ah. What is Operation Raccoon City? Is it like
Hey guys,
another
How's
Resident
the
Evil
house
game?
looking?
not done searching the first floor yet, but so far so good.
Your leg feeling better?
How's that couch treating you, Omi? Leg feeling better yet?
I'm all right.
Wait, is it multiplayer?
I feel you.
It's a side game with different characters. Oh!
Finding this
see,
house
I
was a
see.
hell of a stroke of luck.
You
I
play
like
as
it
the
a lot better when
operatives
we
for
know for sure
Umbrella.
it's safe.
Oh!
But right now it feels like just the break we
Oh,
needed.
I see.
Maybe our luck's starting to turn around.
I'd like to believe that. Really, I would.
About the
What
boat
do you guys
can.
think about this plan of Kenny's?
The guy's losing it. Look, Lee, I know he's your friend and all, but you need to be careful. That man is on the edge, and I don't know if I want to be around when he goes over it.
Kenny's
Yeah, Kenny is
Just been
very,
through a lot,
very
that's
on
all.
edge.
I hope you're right. For all our sakes.
Sit tight. I'll keep checking the
8
first floor
characters to
make sure
choose
it's
from
safe.
with own
Thanks,
unique
Lee.
abilities.
Holding up okay?
I hope this house is safe. Have you
You
checked
just
all
do
the rooms
missions?
to make sure?
Like
No, but
story
I'll
missions?
Take care of it.
So kind of like Destiny. I thought the main campaign only had 4. Let's see. Should I open it?
Nothing hiding in here.
Oh, toilet. Paintings.
Not exactly my style.
This is a Doge. Wait, can I go in this door?
All clear in here.
Wait,
Just
where is
one more to
Kenny?
check.
Wait, did I talk to Clementine already? I don't think I did, right?
Holding up okay?
I hope this house is safe. Have you checked all the rooms to make sure?
No, but I'll take care of it.
I'll take care of it. I will take care of it. This door?
Jesus!
Oh! A mop!
What? What happened?
It's nothing. Just, nothing.
This is on the Steam page for it. Notice, message for Capcom. We are aware of an issue that some
We should
customer
be
may be
okay here
experiencing
for a
during
while.
game installation,
At least
which
until
is
it
related
quiets
to
down
games for
outside.
Windows Live. We are temporarily
Thanks.
disabling the purchase option on
he
Steam while
okay?
we investigate the matter further. We will keep you
I'm really
informed
worried his
of
leg
the
may have gotten
progress of
infected.
the investigation. Thank you for your
Don't
patience.
suppose you turned up any meds while you were poking around?
When was
Nah,
that
Just some whiskey.
updated?
I was just asking Clementine if she knows who
07,
the man on her
07.
radio is. It's okay, honey. You can tell us. Who is he? What does he want?
Go ahead, Clem.
Go ahead, Clem. It's okay. You're not in any trouble.
It's just a friend. I don't think he wants to hurt us.
What
Are
has
you
he been
sure?
saying to you? What have you been saying
Been
to
like that
him?
for over a year at least. Oof.
I told him I was trying to
Damn.
find my parents and that they were in Savannah. He really seems nice. I think he wants to help me find them.
Clementine, honey, trust me, that's not what he wants.
Lee? Lee, you need to get up here now.
What's wrong?
It's Kenny.
Is Kenny? Did he kill himself?
Kenny said he thought he heard something up there.
Oh.
To go look.
He's up there?
I can't get him to come down.
Stay here.
And look at that ass. Should you handle it this time? Okay. Classic pred tactics.
Kenny?
Kenny? What is he doing?
Kenny? You okay, man?
You see what I mean shortly? Okay.
Oh, Jesus. What the hell is that?
Is it a kid?
Oh, my God.
No! It is a little kid! He died? Starving?
Kinda looks like Duck, don't he?
Oof.
Just a kid.
Oof.
What the hell happened to him?
Ain't nothing on him. Guess he must have been hiding out up here. Starved to death.
Jesus Christ.
I don't know if I can do it, Lee. Not again.
Let's just
Kenny,
leave.
man, we don't have to do this right now. Maybe we should just get out of here. He can't hurt anyone.
You want to just walk away? I don't know if I can do that either.
Should I just kill it? Oh. Give gun to Kenny.
Here. This'll make it clean and quick.
I don't know that I can do it, Lee.
Should I do it? You don't have to.
You're right. I can't put you through this again. I'll take care of it.
Okay, I guess I'll do it then. That mission just off the kid, but I feel like he needs closure, you know?
Until he starved to death.
I know this sounds messed up, but it kind of reminds me of an African kid crying. Oh my god! I know what exactly you mean. Should I stomp? Okay, stomping is kind of... Okay, I feel like shooting it. It's gonna be too loud. Bash zombie. Stomping seems a little bit aggressive, you know?
I'm sorry.
Do it for the vine.
We should bury him.
I'll take care of it.
Oof. Oof. What happens to his, like, parents? Now you got some respect from Kenny. That is true, that is true. I think out of everyone, I want Kenny to be like the person I want to save the most. Under Clementine, okay? Under Clementine. Hey, you get to sleep with your dog. Now that that's done, I grab a couple slices of pizza. Yum, yum. You guys know, whenever I eat pizza, I like drown it in ranch. I don't know. It's good. Pick up shovel. Purse probably died. That's true. But like the door was locked, right? It was locked. So they must have like, you know, left the kid in there by himself. I've never really liked ranch. Really? I love ranch. I love like drowning my chicken wings in ranch and like pizza. This sounds fat of me, but dipping it in gravy is good. I love gravy. Especially like gravy on like mashed potatoes. I love potatoes. I love mashed potatoes. Yeah, left the kid while the adults went to find food and they didn't make it back. Oh, you know, that is a good theory. Very, very good theory. But why was he naked though? Why was the kid naked? He was hiding in the attic? Whoa.
Hey! Hey!
Who
Who
are
are you? What the hell do you want from us?
Lee,
Who
what's going
are
on?
you? Someone was watching us.
Thought I saw something outside the fence.
something or someone?
Didn't get a good enough look. The way they move, though. Too fast to be a walker.
Speaking of food, do you melt cheese on your bulldog? Yes, I do. I do melt cheese on my bulldog. Love it, actually.
Watch it. Creepy as hell.
No, you're supposed to sing
Jenny,
"Hello
I'm fine.
from the other side."
That's all the ruckus.
Lee thinks he might have seen someone out there spying on us.
I didn't
Maybe it's
think.
that goddamn
I
bell
know.
ring.
Remember when walkers were what we were most afraid of? Those are starting to seem like the good old days.
Well, the hell with this. I'm not gonna let whoever's out there keep us from getting our boat. We've holed up here long enough. I'm heading down to River Street.
I don't know if Omid's well enough to move yet.
Well, he better
Oh,
get ready,
shit.
because I'm going
He's
down to
a
River
black-
Street right now to find a boat. And as soon as she's ready to go, we're moving out.
We only
Supplies.
checked the house to make sure it's secure. We didn't really toss the place. We're low on food, water, meds, ammo. We should make sure there's nothing here we can use before we move out.
Well, you search it if you wanna. I'm done with this house. We came to this city to find a boat, and that's just what I'm gonna do.
Maybe it's not
Is he
such a
gonna
bad
leave the
idea to
grill?
check the
I feel
place
like
I
he's
before.
gonna
said
leave the
I'm
grill.
done with this house.
Oh, poor Ben.
We can do both. Ben, you take one last look around the place. Grab anything that looks useful, while me and Kenny go down to the river to get us a boat.
Wait, can't I come? My mom and dad can't be far now. Maybe we can look for them on the way to the river.
Stay here and help.
Kenny, I think it'd be best if you stayed here with Ben. I need you to watch out for Omid and Krista. Help them get ready to move out.
You said I'm supposed to always stay close to you.
Oh,
I know, it's just this
no.
once. Sometimes we all have to put aside what we want for the good of the group. Hey, don't worry. I'll be back before you know it, okay?
Okay.
Daylight's burning. Gonna go grab my gear, then we'll head out.
Come on, Clem.
Kenny has been
Let's
through
go
a
see if
lot.
Omid needs
Yeah. Very.
So, you're just gonna leave me on the bench here?
Stay and protect Clementine.
That's not how it is, Ben. I need you to stay here and keep an eye on Clementine.
I can do that.
Well, just so we're clear. While I'm gone, anything or anyone tries to get inside this house, you shoot them.
I low-key don't trust him
Think
though.
twice about it. Understand?
But like
I
out
got
of
no problem
everyone,
shooting walkers.
Did you hear what I said?
Ben has to do something,
Anything
you know?
or anyone. Good.
What the fuck is this, Family Guy? It's a trap. See? Man, you're just pushing Clement away at this point. I mean, for her own safety, you know? Her own safety. When Peter and Brian and Maury Goldman all keep looking at each other and nodding. No. East Bay, Lincoln Street. Okay. Listen, Clem is bright. She listens to you closely. You're right. But then, like, I don't want to, like, drag her around all over the city where she could get hurt, you know? The goal is to keep Clementine alive. Right? Isn't that the goal? You wanna talk? You wanna talk?
Hey, so you want to talk about it?
About what?
About what happened back there in the attic?
No.
You sure, man? I mean, we-
River's right up ahead.
Let's be real. She probably has plot armor.
Son of a bitch.
You know
The
you're
bastard's
right.
fucking with us again. It's another trap.
No, listen. That's not the same bell as before. This
No
one's
matter
full
what I
on.
do, she would never die,
Whatever it is,
right?
it's gonna get the door moving over there.
I mean, I would probably die. I mean, protect Clem at all costs. Yeah,
What in
protect
the hell
Clem.
is going on?
I have no idea.
No idea, but someone must be ringing those bells.
Whatever, man. I find whoever's doing that, I'll ring their motherfucking bell for them.
Good one.
Wait, I feel like they're ringing the bell to like
Let's keep
attract
moving.
all the zombies to one side, right?
Still nothing moving behind us. I think we're... Oh my god.
Oh no.
There's gotta be a boat. There's gotta be.
I don't
Hey,
think
man,
so.
I don't think so. Maybe we need to come up with a new plan.
This is the plan. It's the only one we've got, and you pissing on it in front of everyone like you did back at the house ain't exactly helping. Screw you. I ain't giving up that easy.
Oh god. Chase after him, Lee! Chase after him! We had Shen played RE6 all kept. I have not.
This one might
We don't
still
talk
be
about
something.
RE6. I have not. Everybody keeps telling me RE6 is not that bad. It's pretty bad.
Seriously?
But
You got a better fucking
I
idea.
also heard that RE6 is actually pretty good too.
I'll check it out. You
So,
look further along the waterfront.
I don't-
Maybe there's something.
I don't know what to
to
think.
I don't think we should split up too far.
We don't have to. See that telescope? You can see all the way along the waterfront from right here. See what you can find.
Okay.
Okay. What can I find?
Not exactly a
Keep
welcome
out.
mat.
Telescope?
Great.
It's like the kid you want no one to know about. I hear a zombie. Wait, they're all like on poles.
Fuck. What is this meant to be? Some kind of...
Stepchild. You keep in the basement? Is it really that bad though? I heard from someone that like it's like
This barricade does a good
it's
job
not
of making
canon, but like
it further.
it's still a pretty good game, you know? But it's just not a Resident Evil game, but it's still a pretty good game. That's what I heard.
This barricade does a good job of making me not want to go any further.
Okay. Pile of zombies. Should I shoot it? I feel like I shouldn't shoot it. Anything else I could do here? Boarded up windows.
What the hell are these markings? They're all over the place.
This one?
Could be military tags, but what do they mean?
Looks like a code to me. Oh, money? But a bad Resident Evil game. Ah, remember Wesker for 5? Yeah.
That would have been too easy.
I put the stepchild on a cross in front of the building to display their sin. That's terrible. That's terrible. That works too.
The place.
Okay, building.
Must have taken weeks to blow
Weskers?
up all these windows.
Fox? Like, what do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean by that? I need more context. What do you mean?
I should probably stick close to Kenny. It's too dangerous out here.
Okay. Shouldn't go there.
Looks like it's still intact.
Do you? Oh, so you get to play as this kid? Wait, I get to play as this kid? Clone.
Siphoned, tires removed, engine parts missing. Looks like this thing has been stripped clean.
Train.
Must have been a hell of a wreck.
Car.
Someone must have been trying to back their boat into the water. Only things didn't go as planned.
Where's Kenny? Kenny.
You got a quarter on you?
Don't have a lot of use for small change these days. Maybe you can find one on the street somewhere.
Oh, find one on the streets. Oh wait, I think you're right. He might be a clone. Was it about his blood?
Looks like the whole city has been boarded up for all the good it did.
Okay, coin. I could get a coin from here, right? Was it locked?
Empty. Somebody already cleaned this place out.
Okay, what if I shoot it? Shoot this guy.
Better not. Gunfire would just bring more walkers.
Okay, I can't shoot it. What can I do?
Better not. Gunfire would just bring more walkers. Using walkers like scarecrows. What sick bastard did this?
Huh? What can I do? I looked at everything, right? Oh, wait.
Damn. Built solid.
Okay, I can't break that. What have I not looked at? The boat?
Jesus.
Oh, never mind. I looked at that. He is. It is Wesker's kid. Oh my god. Wait, who's the mom then? Can I be the mom? Okay, truck. Newspaper machine. I looked at that. Can I go here? No. A Wreck-It Ralph moment. Okay, and I can't go any further because I don't want to leave Kenny. Okay, doors, windows.
Someone already looted the place.
Huh. Oh, wait. Oh! I could go here. Okay, what's the point of me going here? Huh?
Could be military tags, but what do they mean?
No way Excella turned into a tentacle monster. Tentacle? Barricade. Okay, can I talk to Kenny again? Maybe he'll give me clues. Yeah? Kenny!
Just let him do his thing.
Just let him do his thing?
Keep out. Keep out of what?
Thank you so much for the sub.
Why does it look like Wild West Town? Because it's like that. It's old school. I said thank you for the 9 months, Hovey! Nerd! Says you! Welcome in, Hovey. How are you? How's your day?
Thank you guys.
Better not.
Oh my god, old clip. Actually, old clip. Ew! God, goddamn.
This barricade does a good job of making me not go any further.
Okay, I can't go here. It is impossible. I can't shoot. Okay. Something I haven't done yet. Something I have to trigger. I don't know what though. No? No? Nothing? I need a coin. I need a coin. I need the max win.
Must have taken weeks to build all these
I can do it. Oh no, Mario!
Mario! Super
Why must you
Mario!
betray me?
Oh, hey, the hat clip.
Alright, we're coming up.
Okay, I looked at this. I looked at this, right? I looked at this.
Looks like the whole city has been boarded up for all the good.
I'm so stuck. I'm very stuck. I don't know what to do here. Okay, the sign. Oh wait, can I grab it? No, it's stuck. Oh. Okay, wait. Okay. I found a quarter. Okay. Now I can use this.
Fuck!
What's up with the boat?
It ain't gonna work. Hull's cracked beneath the waterline, plus someone stripped out the battery.
You can't fix it?
I had a good day. Even tried out the new brewery in the neighboring town with the boys. Oh, nice.
What the hell is that?
Did you have fun? Did you answer? Just beat everyone and everything with that wrench? That is true.
Abandoned, like every other place in this city.
The lake?
Plenty of docks, no boats.
I had a good beer? Nice.
No way that one's salvageable.
I don't really like beer, guys. I don't know.
Nothing but water.
It tastes very bland to
To be
me.
seen.
Maybe it's just me.
Nothing but water. Not a boat to be seen.
Nothing. Look at that bridge.
The Talmadge Memorial Bridge. Can't imagine how many people tried to escape across it when the city started to fall.
Oh, a boat? Sunken
No way
boat?
that one's salvageable.
Anything else I could look at? Here?
No sign of any boats down there.
No signs of any boat. I looked at this already, right? Dogs. Wait, what have I not looked at? I looked at this. Okay, the bridge.
The Talmadge Memorial Bridge. Can't imagine how many people tried to escape across
Oh my
it when
god.
the city
At a
started to
great
fall.
amber ale, bog growler. A growler? What is a growler? Growler? But I hardly even know her. Ha 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 ha. Funny, right, guys? What?
What the hell?
My god, it's Spider-Man!
Get down!
Also, thank you for the redeem. A growler is a 64-ounce bottle that you can bring back to the brewery to get refilled.
Someone came down from
Ah.
that building at the end of the street. Where'd he go?
See,
Saw him run into
see.
that newsstand.
Could be our bell ringer. How about we go find out?
Maybe it's just a scavenger.
Maybe he's just another scavenger like us.
Yeah, and maybe he ain't. Maybe he's that fucker on the radio who's been messing with Clementine's head. Don't you want to know? Because I want to know. Okay,
Ooh.
you head up the middle of the street. I'll go around the side, cover your flank. We'll come up on him quiet, take him by surprise.
We just want to talk to this guy.
Oh, we're gonna talk.
Oof. Thank you for the hydrate. Thank you, thank you. I'm not kidding. I don't really like this orange juice. Psst, psst. Little kid. Hey, little kid. I just want to talk. Oh, it's a girl. Oh shit. Ass assassin. Yeah, I'm an ass assassin.
Clem?
Thank you for the redeem. Thank you, thank you.
You're not from Crawford.
You're not the guy on the radio.
I'm not a guy at all. Full marks for observation. Mind if I get up?
Slowly.
Assassin. 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 See, you should have brought Clem in the first place. Shoot through it. I'm not gonna shoot. I'm not gonna shoot her. She seems nice. Not okay. Oh my god. Did I click it too late? I think I clicked it too late. Go for the knee. That's terrible.
Who are you people?
Can you back off?
Can he back off? Unless you want this lady to give you another ass.
Can't believe so Clementine has just been like following
Who are you
us.
calling lady? The name's Molly.
Molly, I'm Lee. This is Kenny and Clementine. We're not looking for any trouble.
Hi.
You guys really aren't from Crawford, are you?
No. What's Crawford?
I don't even know what that is.
Everything beyond that barricade.
What the hell happened here?
You sure you want to know? When everything started going to shit, some people got together and sealed off that whole neighborhood. Folks willing to do anything to stay alive, stop the dead getting in. I try to avoid them.
Why?
Let's just
Wait,
say
is she
they
gonna be
have
part
a
of our group
zero
now?
tolerance policy for anyone who won't or can't live by their rules.
So how'd you know we weren't them?
Because there are no children in Crawford. Not anymore.
Oh. Wait, why no children?
What do you mean, no children? Why not?
No children, no elderly, no one with an advanced medical condition. Basically, no one who might be a burden on the community. Crawford's all about the survival of the fittest. That's how they survived. While the rest of the world went to shit around them.
Jesus
Damn.
Christ.
Well, just the opposite when you think about it.
Still, children?
Still, children. You're not saying
In God's name.
Wait, they
No
killed
one stays in
kids and
Crawford unless they can pull their own weight. Otherwise, you're just another mouth to feed, another drain on their precious
Oh, God.
resources.
What does that mean? Pull their own weight.
it just means being able to help out, like you do all the time.
Doesn't sound like any kind of way to live to me.
Couldn't agree more.
How do you know all this?
Everyone
okay, maybe it's just me, but
What was
maybe I'm
going
being a
on
little bit
inside Crawford
paranoid.
got
But I
passed
feel
on
like
to the
Lily
ghost
is
story.
still alive.
Except this one was true.
I don't know. She has like hatred in her, and I feel like all the characters that have like hatred, they always seem to survive for some reason, you know?
Was that you at our house this morning? Watching me through the back fence?
Hell no. Believe it or not, I've got better things to do with my time.
I said Lily's dad because okay, Lily's dad is a different story, okay?
Do you know who's been ringing those bells all over town?
Yeah, that would be me.
Lily's dad, you know,
I knew it. Lee,
I
she
didn't
was
kill
one
him,
of the
okay? I
followers.
wasn't the one who did it.
Fucking with us.
Get that finger out of my face, Grandpa, before I jam it straight up your ass. I haven't been following you. I don't even know who the hell you people are.
Calm down, Kenny. The voice on the radio was a guy, remember?
Yeah, well, whoever you are, ringing those bells this morning nearly got us all killed. Raised the dead all around us.
That's the idea, genius. It's how I get around. I ring a bell in one neighborhood to attract the local geeks towards it. Buys me some time to scavenge the areas they cleared out.
Geeks? Is that what you call them?
Yeah, you know, like at the carnival, they'll eat anything, alive or dead.
That's pretty smart with the bells.
Doesn't take much to outsmart the dead. Bunch of dumbasses. You just gotta move fast, get in and out before they start to wander back again. Look, I'm gonna ask you people again. You're not from Crawford, so who the hell are you? What are you doing here?
We're looking for a boat.
I'm down here looking for a boat. Hoping to get our people out of here and find someplace safe.
Yeah, good luck with that. Anyone with a boat took it out of here as soon as people started eating each other. Any that got left behind, Crawford stripped them for parts. Cars, too.
There's gotta be something.
If there was, do you think I'd still be here? I've been over every inch of this city. This whole place
Zombie
is
noises.
God damn it! Fuck!
Hey, moron. You want to keep your voice
They're
down?
so loud. You know, all the grunting.
Since you're not getting on a new boat, I'd advise you folks to go back to where you came from before...
Oh.
Great. Just great.
Oh. Are we gonna fight? Clementine! Stay behind me!
Isn't that the way we came? Fuck. Gunshot must have brought him back.
Isn't there another way back to the house?
Mom, is there a...
Follow her! Oh my god. God damn!
You just gonna let her go? Hey! You can't just leave us here!
Really? Watch.
No!
Wow,
Please don't leave
she's
us.
an a-hole. What? Yeah, save Clementine!
Come on, make it fast.
Fuck me! Come on, hurry!
Hurry up, take my hand!
Lee, come on!
Oh man, one good jump.
Oh my god, Lee, jump!
No! Hurry!
Climb up, climb up.
Come on, Lee! Get your ass out of there!
No, not the sewers, no! Wait!
Can't get it open!
Here, use that to pry it open.
Literally, he can literally just jump again! What? Lee, you could have just... oh my god, you were just gonna give up after one jump? God. Seriously. I'm baffled. Zombies are in the way of the ladder now? But still, like... They walk so slow! Oh. Also, how is he gonna close that? Aren't they all just gonna like fall down? And get to him?
Clementine, can you hear me? If you can hear me, just get back to the house, okay? I'll meet you there.
Oh, now I'm by myself.
Shit.
Okay. I have a weapon, right?
Built solid.
Built solid.
No way
This
I
one
can
too?
pry that open.
Don't die now? I'll try not to. I'll try not to. Okay. This is the only way I could go. God. Have you guys ever been inside like a sewer before? Like an actual sewer on the ground? I have not. But I've been in like ditches. And even that, it feels like a little bit scary. Like a pipe? Also, thank you for the blurb! Thank you, thank you. Go here.
Could be the way out. There's no way I could take on all of those things by myself.
Nope. Let's go here. I watched the Goonies. Does that count? I don't know. I've never seen the Goonies, so I I have no clue. Righty tighty. Isn't that supposed to be the other way? Righty tighty, lefty loosey. Like, wouldn't turning it right close it? Turning it left opens it?
Shit.
The pipe? There has to be like another. What do you mean locked? Okay. This has to be the correct way, right? Oh no, wait, this is where I came from. Okay. We're gonna turn it right. Is that correct? Take it. Can I take it? Can I take it back? No? Okay. Okay, Lee. Let me go. Wait for the zombies to leave. Is that all? Easy, right? Easy. And I could kill this one, right? Wait!
Oh my god. Chuck, you must have tried to hide out down here. Poor bastard.
No! Wait! Chuck is dead?
Just to save the last one for himself. You deserve better, old man.
I honestly thought he would have like survived. Wait, I actually kind of liked him. What the heck? Okay. That's sad. Damn, I want to... Oh, I want the bed to die. Let go, let go.
God damn it.
Q. Okay. Okay. Yeah, he's DEAD. Oh god. Welcome to Chewy. Welcome. How are you? How was your day? How have you been?
No way I could pick that up on my own.
You can't pick up a ladder. Oh my goodness. Oh 07. Chuck is the big dead. Okay, I wanted Chuck to be alive. I feel like he would have been better. A better replacement than Ben. God, why is Ben even alive? You know? Like a sign.
Just a sign. What the hell?
What the heck, Lee? What the heck? Oh, a hole? Hello! I'm doing good. How are you? I am also doing good. My sleep schedule has been like very effed. Very effed. I went to sleep in like the afternoon. Woke up like not even that long ago. But I've been okay. I've been good. So it's nice to hear that you're doing good, Chewing. Nice.
Fallout shelters.
Fallout shelters? Wait, there's so many supplies here.
Living down here.
Can I just steal them?
Look at all this. It's enough to keep people alive for months.
Anything else I can look at? The door?
Who are you?
Who are you? I don't want any trouble.
It's all right. It's okay. I don't want any trouble.
We need to fix our sleep
Neither
schedule.
do we.
Okay, you know, I tried.
You do well
Like,
to
I
turn
think
around
like
and
a
leave.
week ago,
Right
I was
now.
like waking
Look,
up in the morning.
I'm
Like,
sorry to
actually,
disturb
I
you
was
folks.
waking up in the
I'll
morning.
just be going.
You can't let
And
him
go
leave.
to sleep
He's from Crawford.
at night,
People
like a
think they're
normal
making it
person.
down here.
And
you from
then
Crawford?
I
Don't lie
discovered
to me. I'll know.
Marvel Rivals.
Where else can he be from?
And
Everywhere else around
I've
here is
just,
dead.
I've just been
I think
playing
you
it
better start talking.
Came here with a small group hoping
like
to find a
constantly all
boat.
night.
Just want to get out of here. How about you just let me go?
Ain't no boats around here. Crawford took everything.
Okay.
Yeah, I heard.
You can't trust him, Vernon. You can't let him leave.
What do you want me to
Okay,
do? Shoot him
Karen.
in the head?
Why not? Be more of a mercy than anyone from Crawford ever showed us. Think, Vernon. What do you think they'll do if they find out we're down here right under their feet?
Damn it. You're right. I'm sorry.
Let's talk
friend.
about this.
Can't take the risk.
Look, you don't want to do this. Let's talk, okay?
What's to talk about? You won't even tell us who you are.
My name is Lee. I'm a history professor.
If you uninstall Overwatch 3, will you sleep normally?
Don't come any closer, or I'll shoot.
Come on,
Maybe.
let's just talk about this.
Vernon, what are you doing? Shoot him!
Nobody needs to get shot. Just take it easy.
He's shaking. I don't want to grab it. Can I?
I told you he's lying. He is one of them. Kill him before he kills us.
Oh my god! I should have grabbed it. I should have grabbed it. Okay. Okay. Honestly, I feel like if I touched him or anything, they're gonna actually kill me.
Who are you?
But I guess I have to grab it. Okay. I don't want any trouble.
It's all right. It's okay. I don't want any trouble.
Neither do we. Which is why you'd do well to turn around and leave right now.
Look, I'm sorry I disturbed you folks.
Oh my god.
I'll just be going.
You can't let him leave. He's from Crawford.
Do it unless it's the only time you spend it with your.
you
I
from
don't have a
Crawford?
boyfriend.
Don't lie to me.
Why do you keep
I
assuming I have a
Where
boyfriend,
else can he be
Chewy?
from? Everywhere else around here is dead.
I'm not from around
Okay.
here. I'm from Athens. Grew up in Macon.
I have a
Oh
brother
god.
in Macon.
They're gonna try, but he's also a weak old man.
I wasn't
Okay.
as bad as here.
I'm sorry.
You can't trust him, Vernon. You can't let him leave.
What do you want me to do? Shoot him in the head?
Why not? Be more of a mercy than anyone from Crawford ever showed us. Think, Vernon. What do you think they'll do if they find out we're down here right under their feet?
Damn it. You're right.
Let's talk
I'm
about
sorry,
this.
friend. Can't take the risk.
Look, don't want to do this. Let's talk, okay?
What's to talk about? You won't even tell us who you are.
My name is Lee. I'm a history professor. I don't want to die today. And I don't think you want to kill me either.
Don't come any closer, or I'll shoot.
Take the gun. Take the gun. Take the gun.
Come on, let's just talk about this.
Vernon, what are you doing? Shoot him!
Nobody needs to get shot. Just take it easy. It's all right. It's okay.
Vernon, what the hell are you doing? Vernon!
Relax. I'm not here to hurt you.
You're really not from Crawford?
No, I'm really not.
Well, we are, or were. We got out of there when they started sealing up the place, you know, started weeding out the sick and the old so that perfect survivor society wouldn't be threatened. No room for weakness or vulnerability in their little master race.
You don't look that old, so you're sick?
We're sick. We're all members of a cancer survivors group that used to meet here at the hospital. We're in remission. But that wasn't good enough for Crawford.
You have a whole harem to all your boyfriends? No, I don't have a harem! It's not a harem!
Basement's been abandoned for years.
What is this? A morgue?
A morgue?
Yeah. Irony's always high on my list when I'm looking for a
Wait,
place
what?
to
Under
survive.
a hospital?
How did you find your way down here?
We were looking for a boat.
My group and I were up by the river looking for a boat. Now I just want to get out of here and find them again.
Well, that sewer system you came through runs all over the city. It'll take you wherever you want to go.
Can you show me the way back?
Those sewers are like a damn maze. Any chance you could help me find my way back?
Okay, no way I traveled that far, right?
But we've all got our own
I feel like I've only moved like
sick and need constant
less than a
care,
mile.
and I'm the only doctor
Like
here.
in the sewers.
Besides, why should we help you?
Because this is your other option.
Sorry, friend. I'm not buying it.
Vernon, what are you doing?
I've
Okay.
seen my share of murderers since this all started.
Am I not threatened? Okay, you know?
He was the type to do violence.
Okay, I thought you'd be funny. I thought it'd be
Wait,
funny. But he was like, you're bluffing.
Look, sorry if I scared you.
I
just
thought
want to
it
get
would
back to
be
my
funny. That
Back
shit
to
was
Clementine.
funny. It was funny. Hello, Book. Welcome, welcome. How are you? Oh shit, what did he say?
Yeah, she's probably already wondering where I am.
Well, we can't have that, can we?
Got
are you
it.
doing?
Okay.
It's all right, Bree. I had a daughter too. Lost her in the first days.
I lied.
I'll be
I tried to
damned if
threaten
I'll
them
just
and I
sit
lied.
back and let
I mean,
that happen
technically,
to someone
Clementine,
We need you here.
she's like a daughter
Don't
to
worry.
me, you know?
I'll be back before you know it. Let's go see about your daughter.
Okay. I'm tired. It's been a day. Oh my god, Vogue. Make sure you rest well. Drink lots of water. You know, relax. Oh god, a room with a bunch of old people. Honestly, that part was kind of funny.
Clementine? Clem?
Oh,
Molly?
there she is.
Oh, hey, you made it back.
Who's this?
He didn't tell you about me? I'm the one who saved his ass back at the river. Who's the fossil?
Where's Clementine?
Where's Clementine?
She's around here somewhere.
Is it time?
Relax.
Time?
I got her
Time
and
for
Honey
what?
both back safely.
Time for what?
You're welcome, by the way. I think you have something that belongs to me.
Okay, I know this is a really
Oh
bad
my god.
idea, but it's 2 a.m. and
Oh my god.
I'm bored. And I'm gonna regret this
my God.
so much.
Oh my god.
Ready? Right. Extra nuzzle pounces on you. Ooh, you so warm. Couldn't help but notice your
Your
breath
from
from
across the
floor.
floor.
Nuzzle you naked, you wake it
That's just Becky as puzzle, baby. You so musty.
Take me, help me, and make me yours, and don't forget to stuff me.
This
See
is
me while my little
horrid.
baby tell for your boys, you want your kisses and lookies and
Would you
that.
take a look?
I hope Daddy likes these.
Nuzzles and wuzzles and jazz.
I'm getting thirsty.
Hey, you got a little itch.
Sing louder now.
Only 7 inches long.
I'll see what I can do. Take me to
Pass on your boy just and lick my lips.
Oh my god. This just reminded me, literally, yesterday, I was like playing Marvel Rivals with my sisters and like my sister's side of the family, like her in-laws. And they were
All
they
right,
were
let's
talking
take a look
about
at it.
how
I work better without an audience.
because my
Now, why don't
username
you go
is
find your little girl?
on Marvel Rifles, my username is Shinobi Uwu, and my sister was like, "Oh, do you guys know the Uwu rap?" And I was like, "What Uwu rap?"
Clementine?
And my sister was like, "You know the Uwu rap that you did? Did you guys know Shin did an Uwu rap?" And my sister was trying to make me rap it to them, and I don't know, it was so crazy. I would never. I tried to avoid it at all costs. And I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. Whoa, rap. Oh my goodness. It's so embarrassing. It's so embarrassing.
Clementine?
Oh my god. She should have told them to come to his stream. No. I'm actually happy they're not like Twitch. Twitchers
in here?
or like Twitch watchers. It's so embarrassing. It's so cringe.
Clem's drawings. But where is she?
Oh. Clem's drawing. She drew me.
I'll have time.
Seems good. We want our redeems worth. Oh god. I don't know. Should I do another cover? Like another
Clementine,
cringe
you
cover?
here?
Wait, is she gonna be up there?
Clementine? You up there? Shit. Where could she be?
Oh god. Jesus Christ. I need to show your brother some of your clips. No. Like, okay. My family knows that I stream, alright? Like my brothers, they all know that I stream, yada yada. I'm a VTuber. Okay?
Hello?
But then like they don't know what I do on the internet. They don't know how I
What do you
act
do?
on the
Oh, you know,
internet.
just poking around.
You won't find anything.
Please
We
don't.
already
Please
searched the
don't. It's
place.
embarrassing.
You'd be
It's
surprised what people miss. Trust me, I've been doing this for a
I
while.
don't know. I will literally
Where's
like
Clementine?
leave the house and
Don't
never
ask
come
me, I'm
back
not a
ever
keeper.
again.
Do I look like I'm in the mood to be jerked around? Where
So
did
cringe.
She go?
Last I saw, she was downstairs with your redneck friend and that college kid who hangs around with him. Why don't you go bug
Oh.
Ben?
Okay. Where's Ben? Where is Ben?
Clementine? I don't care about that. I just want to find Clementine.
Okay.
No sign of her in here.
Look for Clementine. Look for Clementine. Dante Inferno style or I don't even know what Dante's Inferno style is. Wait, this is a bathroom?
Clementine?
Anything, I guess. I don't know. I don't know.
Clementine!
So cringe.
Come out,
Shen is
please.
so cringe.
Kenny?
Oh, hey, you made it back.
He's
Good
been
job.
drinking?
Good job.
What the hell do you think you're doing?
You know how
What
there's
does it look
7
like?
deadly sins? Yeah.
Where'd you get
like
the bottle?
gluttony, greed,
Found
lust.
it. You want to throw down again like back on the train? Because I fight better when I'm shit-faced.
What the fuck were you thinking letting Kenny get like this?
Hey man, I tried, but he gave me a look like he was gonna rip my face off. He won't listen to you. You think he was gonna listen to me?
Oof.
To hell with you.
Getting wasted's not gonna help anyone.
Yeah? Well, what is? We are fucked. Molly said there's not a single boat left in Savannah. No way out. We got walkers all around us. That crazy
Okay,
fuck on
the
the radio
boat is
messing
not
with
our
us.
only option
Hell,
though.
if now ain't the time for a drink?
Good choice, Ben. Good choice.
Have either of you seen Clementine?
Damned if I
Each
know.
level of heal
Gotta
has
be
his
around here
deadly
somewhere.
sins he
Ben, I
kills.
gave you one job when I left here.
I haven't
Take
played
care
a
of
game,
Clementine.
just watched it and
Then she shows up out on River Street looking for me.
really.
What the hell happened?
Oh.
Hey, don't put all that on me. Omi took a turn for the worse, and Krista asked me to help. I'm sorry, I'm doing the best I can here. She was frantic and things got kind of
Oh,
crazy.
hell,
I told
okay.
Clementine to stay put. What else could I do?
I see, I see. Okay.
Whatever. I think she went out to play in the backyard.
On her own, with no
Are you
one
sure?
watching her?
Man, will you get off my back? She's fine out there.
She better be, or it's your
By
ass.
herself? Wait, what if she gets, like, kidnapped?
Clementine? Clementine!
You hear the door?
Door's covered in vines. Don't think anyone came in through there.
Where is my daughter? Doghouse? No? Clementine? Oh my god. This is why I cannot be a caretaker. Hey, she's not here! Oh wait. Can I look up here? No?
What the hell happened back here? What the?
Look through the hole! You can literally fit your head in there, no? Plenty! Oh! Told you not to wander off.
What have I told you about wandering off on your own?
I know, stay close to you. But you weren't here. And look what I found.
Supplies? You guys know the only reason I'm drinking like orange juice right now? Because I need my vitamins. Holy shit!
Holy shit.
Swear.
I need to be healthy. Oh, Kenny! Give him a hug. Hug him. Okay, but how are we gonna drag it to the sea? How are we gonna take it to the sea though? Or like in the water, not the sea, like the waters. Carefully.
Omid's doing okay?
As well as can be expected under the circumstances. I
You
did
have
what
2
I
legs
could
and
for
2
him.
arms? That is
The
true,
wound.
that is true.
He's got a real infection, running a fever. Without antibiotics,
Will you quit pacing? You're making everyone nervous.
Why are you even still here?
Hey, if your friend really can get that boat working, you're taking me with you as payment for saving your asses. I figure that's fair enough, don't you?
Well?
You want the good news or the bad news?
Bad
Let's
news.
get the bad news out of the way first.
Bad news is, she's not taking us anywhere the shape she's in right now. Gas tank's empty and the battery's dead.
So what's the good news?
That's it. That's all she needs. Some gas and a battery. Other than that, she's good to go.
Well, how are we supposed to get that stuff?
Oh, we have to look for the streets.
We should go back out on the street, see what we can find.
I'm for the streets,
not
guys.
gonna
I'm
work.
for the streets.
Crawford took everything and brought it inside their walls. They siphoned every gas tank, stripped every battery. There's nothing left out there. You saw that for yourselves.
she's right.
Well, what about this Crawford place? Sounds like they'd have everything we need. Maybe we should try there.
Oh no.
Surely we have to try. If there are people left in this city who are still alive, who still have supplies, what harm can it do?
I don't think so. I feel like we
Trust me,
shouldn't touch
you don't
anything
know
like
these people. I do.
Crawford related.
You showing up with a wounded man? Might as well put a noose around his neck. They don't exactly welcome children with open arms either.
What the hell kind of a place are we talking about here?
The worst kind? But I don't see what other choice we have.
And just how exactly do you figure we do this? Because from what I've heard, that place ain't exactly friendly to outsiders.